Hello there, welcome back to the channel. Thank you as always for clicking play. It's episode 2 of our little experiment, our Wipeout series with Real Madrid, where we see how they rebuild after we get rid of most of their players. If you haven't watched episode 1, it explains everything in there, so check that out. And also we did a series already with this with Manchester United, so if you're curious about that one, get along and check that out. Right, we are at the start of the 2020-2021 season. Now, last season, of course, they won the Champions League, their 5th one in 7 years, which meant that they did play the European Super Cup. But as you can see, they did lose that match to Porto after extra time. Paul Pogba had made it 1-1, and then they lost, as I say, in extra time. In the league, they have played 2 games. They won 3-2 away at Osasuna with Heung-min Son, Mariano Diaz and Rodrigo scoring, and then Marco Verratti and Vinicius Junior scored in a 2-0 home win over Leganés. So let's have a look then at their transfers this summer. And as you can see, Heung-min Son came in for 80 million from Tottenham, and they also brought in Milan Skriniar, very, very good centre-back from Inter, for 55. In terms of players going out, has there been any big ones? Nordi Mukiela went to PSG. He came in, he's had a lot of transfers. He came in, they made a good profit on him. He barely played any games. They signed him from Leipzig for 19 million. He only played 20 matches in all competitions, and then they almost doubled their money, selling him on to PSG for 34. Borja Mayoral, Juan Forlan and Jose David Pajarero have gone out for very, very little money. And then there's a couple of frees and a couple of loans. So not a big transfer window. They have spent a fair bit. Let's just have a look at what that's done for their transfer budget. And they do have 56 million to spend. So in the winter, you could see them maybe bring someone in potentially. So this is their first team squad as it stands at the minute. So of course Thibaut Courtois still there, Matthias de Ligt. It's a decent looking squad. It's very strong, it's compact, it's quite small. I think those signings are pretty decent actually, of Skriniar and Heung-min Son, and then because of course they've already got some amazing players in Christian Pavon, João Felix, Lacazette, Oscar, and of course Ricardo Rodriguez. Who else did they bring in? Mario Emerso, Matthias de Ligt. So they've got a world-class squad. It's quite small. So if they do get, if you look over there, we've got Mario Emerso not actually happy, so he might not be there by the end of the season. So if they do get some injuries, they could be in a little bit of trouble. But it's a phenomenal squad, really. If we have a look at their Champions League group, they've got Bayer Leverkusen, Inter and PAOK Salonika. So they should be getting through that group pretty comfortably, you would have thought. That is pretty much it. We'll come back, of course, and we will see how they got on this season, and of course who they brought in the winter. So fast forward to the end of the season. Right, so we're here at the end of the 2020-2021 season. So let's get straight in. Let's see how Real Madrid have got on in the league. And you can see they finished 3rd. Atletico Madrid again have won the league. They have won it 3 times in a row now. That is quite incredible. I'm not sure how they normally do in FM, because I haven't managed in Spain on FM19. I don't know if that's normal. Let me know in the comments if that is a normal thing that happens. A bit light on the goal scorers. Leo Messi winning the top goal scorer award with 17 league goals. No Real Madrid player in there. Marco Verratti got 20 assists. Absolutely killed it in midfield, didn't he? Thibaut Courtois was in the clean sheets, and player of the match, Marco Verratti, with 8. But they clawed it back, because I think last season it was 15 points they finished behind Atletico. So they 86 points is not a bad return, to be fair. But they've just kind of not been able to get over the line and win that league. So let's have a look. Let's see if they did bring anybody else in the winter. And you can see Mikola Matvienko came in from Monaco for around about 40 million. He is a left back where he's not someone I'm familiar with. Starts the game at Shakhtar, and he was at Monaco. If we just bring up his history quickly. So he was at Shakhtar, went to Monaco for 15 3/4, had a couple of seasons, well, a season and a half there, of course, and then Real Madrid picked him up for that 39.5 million. Looks okay, I guess. But yeah, I'm not sure he'd be one that I'd be looking to spend that sort of money on, but without seeing all his attributes, it's a bit difficult. Let's have a look then at the competitions page. Let's see if they've won anything in 2021. So they didn't win the Champions League and they didn't even get to the final. That's amazing, isn't it? Look, the last time they lost the final was in 1981. And since then, they have been in 8 finals and won them all. Obviously, didn't win the Spanish League either. Didn't win the Club World Championship. We'll have a look at that because they would have been in that, I think. Yeah, they won the Champions League, so they would have been in that, wouldn't they? 2020. No, they may have won it. They may have won it because that would be... Yeah, they must have won that because it takes place in December, doesn't it, I think? So, yeah, they must have won that. Didn't win the Super Cup, as we saw earlier. They lost to Porto, didn't they? So, yeah, right, okay. Let's get into their schedule then and let's see... what happened. We'll take out that. We'll put in the Club World Championship. Let's have a look at that first then. So they did win that. They beat America 4-1 in the semi-final and then beat Guangzhou 3-0. So comfortable wins. Rodrigo, Pogba getting the goals in both games. Comfortable win for them in that. So let's take out that. Let's see what happened in the Copa del Rey. They got to the quarter-final and lost out to Atletico Madrid after putting out Sevilla and Marbella. Marbella getting to the 4th round. That is some achievement. But yeah, they got absolutely spanked by... oh, that is bizarre. Look at that. So they won 2-0 in the first leg at the Wanda with two goals from Pavon and Mariano in the first 10 minutes and then lost 3-0 in the second leg at home after extra time. Wow, that is dramatic. We saw them in the Super Cup, lost to Porto, of course. Let's have a look at the Champions League then. So they got through their group. Oh, my word. FC Porto did them again. After beating them in the European Super Cup, they put them out in the first knockout round. That is a big blow. So they lost 3-1 in the first leg in the Dragao. And then they did manage to get a 2-1 win in the second leg, but of course not enough, and they go out 4-3. So that is pretty much it. Let's have a quick look at the at La Liga and see what happened in the games against Atletico and maybe against Barca as well. So they lost 2-1 in the Wanda. I keep calling it the Calderon. Not quite used to them being in the Wanda yet. They did beat Barcelona 3-0 at home. Let's have a look, scroll down, and then they lost 3-1 at home. Wow, they did not do well against Atletico this season, did they? They lost 3-1 at home to them, and then lost 1-0 at the Camp Nou with the Leo Messi goal. So, yeah, that's where they lost the title, and against Atletico and against that defeat at Barcelona. If they'd won those games, they would have been a lot closer to it. Right, let's have a look then. We've got the transfer window coming up, so what we're going to do is we're going to... now skip through to the day after that's closed. So we will come back on the 1st of September and we'll see how they have shaped their squad for the coming season. And this is what they have done in the transfer market, and wow. I mean, there's a world-class striker there for nothing, and there's a bang average centre-back for ridiculous money. I can't get over those. Dani Olmo has come in on a free from Dinamo Zagreb in Croatia. He's a very, very good player. Very, very good young player. I mean, he's coming on a free and he's valued at 65 million. You can see at the bottom there, he's already got a goal and assist in 2 appearances. He is a former Barcelona trainee. If you are going to be watching my FM20 series, I'm doing a kind of Barcelona thing, so he will be one player that we're looking to bring back to the club for sure. His attributes are obviously not showing, but yeah, brilliant player. Robert Lewandowski is an interesting one. He's still only 33, so he can still do a job. I mean, look at those physicals. The guy is still an absolute specimen. And again, coming on a free transfer. Fantastic signing for them. 59 million he's valued at. Hasn't scored yet in the league, but he has got a decent rating, 7.20. So he's done well for them so far. And this one, I can't get my head around this. Andreas Christensen, £143 million they have paid for him. It's the only time anybody has paid a transfer fee for him, and that is crazy. And he's valued at 102. I mean, that's just insane. I don't know if he generally works out like this in the game. Mind blown. In terms of incoming money, 30.5 million. Mario Fernandes has gone to Milan. He didn't stick around in Spain for too long. He was out on loan last season and they've made it permanent. Presumably they had an option in the deal. Anybody else? The only other one that's gone for money is Manu Trigueros. Again, another player that I really like in real life, and maybe one I'll have a look at when I'm doing Barcelona in FM20. But absolutely shocking that they've bought those players. Javi Gracia is still the manager. He has been there now for it's a good couple of years, isn't it? 2 years, 200, coming up on 3 years. He's been there since taking over from Lopetegui. He's got a Champions League and a World Club Cup win to his credit. I thought the third place finish in the league and the first knockout round defeat in the Champions League, and of course they lost to Atletico in the Copa del Rey as well. I thought that would have done for him, but apparently not. The Champions League group hasn't been drawn as yet, so look at that end to the season for them. They play Atletico at home, Barca away, and Real Betis away as well. So that is a really tough end to the season for them. They've beaten Cordoba 3-0, Marco Verratti, Dani Olmo and Rodrigo, and they've lost away at Sevilla, which happens quite a lot, to be fair. So yeah, let us get through then. I don't know who's in the Champions. I'm surprised it hasn't been drawn yet. But let's get through then. We will go through and see what has transpired this season. And what has transpired is that they've done it. Real Madrid have won the La Liga title, 2 points clear of Atletico Madrid. And if you look at the scores, Atletico drew 0-0 with Real Sociedad on the final day. Real Madrid went to Real Betis and won 3-1. They took the title on the final day. Just look at that. Look how long Atletico Madrid were top. And then that final day, they swapped places and Real Madrid have won. Now, we covered 10 seasons in the Manchester United one and they didn't win the league once. I think they got 1 second place finish. Real Madrid have won their league. They have done it. Lewandowski got 18 goals. Antoine Griezmann still at Atletico in here. He was he was the top player of the season by the look of this. Leo Messi did get the most assists. Ter Stegen at Barcelona again won the... it's always those three. It's always Ter Stegen, Oblak and Courtois who get the most clean sheets. Lewandowski got the most player of the match awards. So, yeah, and a brilliant season then for Real Madrid. Let's have a look at them in terms of... I'm assuming it is still their... Javi Gracia must still be the manager. He is... doesn't look like they won anything else though. He's got 1 league and 2 cup wins, so we will have a look at that in a second. Let's just have a look at the transfers. They brought in Santos from Brazil, a backup goalkeeper by the look of that. In terms of players going out in January, Manu Trigueros, he went. Did he go? Oh no, he went in summer, didn't he? Sorry, he went in the summer. Anthony Lopez, he went out. That is why they've brought in Santos, because they sold their reserve keeper. And then Fede Valverde went to Milan on loan as well. So yeah, let's have a look then at the schedule, because they're not in the Champions League final. I was just going to say that's probably not been played yet. Actually, we've got it set to just the league games. That would explain certain things, wouldn't it? They're in the Spanish Cup final against Atletico Madrid. So we will, before the end of this, we will just fast forward a week and have a look at how they did with that. Wow, they played Barcelona back-to-back in La Liga. That's bizarre. They lost 1-0 at the Camp Nou again and then beat them 2-0 in the return game. And then, as we saw, that dramatic 3-1 win at Real Betis when they were actually 3-0 up. And they did beat Atletico Madrid close to the end of the season there as well, 2-1. So that is the result that really propelled them towards the league title. Let's have a quick look at their squad in terms of like the goals and things. Lewandowski got 28, Heung-min Son got 21. They had a lot of goal scorers here. Dani Olmo, João Felix, Paul Pogba, Pavon, Lacazette, Rodrigo, all getting double figures. In terms of the assists, it was João Felix, Christian Pavon and Robert Lewandowski all getting in the teens, and then you've got a couple of players there, Verratti and Olmo, on double figures as well. Let's have a look then. We didn't just have a look at the Champions League. They got to the semi-final this time and lost in the second leg to Manchester City at the Etihad. They lost 3-1 in that second leg after drawing 2-2. They had knocked Barcelona out in the quarter-final and Roma in the first knockout round. And in the Spanish Cup, they beat Sevilla to get to the final, and Real Sociedad and Mirandes. And in the Champions League group, God, they had FC Porto again. This time beat them 3-1. Where's the away game? There. Oh, they beat them home and away in the group this time. Got a bit of revenge for last season's Super Cup and Champions League heartbreaks. So, yeah, they only won the league. They didn't win anything else. They are in the Spanish Cup final, so we will go through and see if they've managed to do the double. But I think that's about all we need to do in terms of catching up with them this season. So, it's been 4 seasons and they've managed to finally secure the league title. And how long is it since they've won it? 2016-17, so 5 years without the title, which is unthinkable for Real Madrid, although it has happened a few times recently that they've gone that sort of length of time. So yeah, let's go forward a week. Let's see if they've done the double. And it's a yes for that. They beat Atletico Madrid 3-1 in the Copa del Rey final. It was all over by half-time. It was played at the Camp Nou. Paul Pogba, Robert Lewandowski and Dani Olmo, who's been an absolute legend for them this season, put them 3-0 up before the break. Mikola Shaparenko got one back in the final 10 minutes. But you could see certainly by the shot stats that Real probably deserved it. Atletico edged the possession. Interesting one there. Dani Ceballos is now at Atletico. They bought him from Real Betis for 40-odd million. So, but Dani Olmo, he has been an absolute revelation for them this season. 18 goals and 11 assists in 48 appearances. If you are in the game and you haven't come across him and you're at a club that can afford him, snap him up because he is an absolute phenom. It won't let me show the goals. For some reason I can't go in and get them, so we can't have a look at them. But yeah, it's been a double for Real Madrid, which is considering what they've done in the 4 seasons. So they won the Champions League, they've won the Club World Cup, they've won La Liga and the Copa del Rey this season. So that seems like a pretty good place to leave it. The whole idea was to see if they could get back on top in Spain. I always thought it was going to be likely at some point with Real Madrid in the first few seasons, and it's transpired that way. A little bit surprised. Javier Gracia has done a really good job, and he's gone past the 3-year mark, and he's rocketing towards 3.5 years now. So he's doing very, very well. I may go through a few seasons into the future and see how they've done, and just come back and do a little 10-minute update or something. So let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that. Sorry, there's been a bit of a gap between episode 1 and this one, just because the summer holidays happened and things like that. So I've enjoyed doing these with Man United and Real Madrid. I had planned to do like Juve and Bayern as well, because it would have been a little bit different. They going from a position of dominance rather than Real Madrid and Man United, who were lagging behind a little bit in real life. So it would have been interesting to see how a Juve, a Bayern, a PSG, how they would have managed to do it. Not sure I'm going to be able to do that now, but it might be something that we do on FM20 just to continue it a little bit, because I've really enjoyed doing it. I like doing this sort of thing. So let me know in the comments if it's something you'd like to see. Remember to smash that like button as well. Subscribe. FM20 is fast approaching. It's only a few weeks away now, so make sure you're subscribed. There is a video showing you what I'm going to be doing, certainly for the start of FM and the first few months as well. So yeah, make sure you check that out, and I will see you very soon, guys, for some form of Football Manager content, be it 19 or 20. But thank you very much for watching. Adios.